Hello and welcome back to somebody on the Football Zone and to a weekend preview, but also reviewing the action from this week, starting off with a dramatic day at the Emirates as Arsenal just about got past Porto on penalties with a 1-0 win on the night to get to the Champions League quarterfinals. A huge win for Arsenal. It was Trossard in the 41st minute gave Arsenal, and Arsenal pushed for the equaliser, always looked the more likely team, but in the end had to rely on penalties. I think Arsenal feel it doesn't really matter how they did it, the main point is they did it, and big win for them. And really puts them back on the Europeans elite, you feel. But moving on then to a dramatic game at the Vitality. Bournemouth 4, Luton 3. Luton were 3-0 up at half time before Solanke scored 1, Semenyo scored 2, and Zavani, I don't know if I said the right 62nd minute, gave Bournemouth that standing comeback win. And for Luton, you kind of feel like that could well finish them off, really. You just got to be holding on to that lead. Bournemouth, incredible fighting spirit, but I feel like that could have big implications for Luton. But moving on then to the FA Cup quarterfinals coming up this week, really looking forward to this game. Wolves against Coventry, obviously relatively close by, really interesting one for me this. I think Wolves, obviously at home, being a Premier League side, will come into its favourites, but Coventry will really fancy their chance. So I think they're a really good side in the Championship, can beat anyone on that day. But I feel like Wolves at home, with the price at Wembley, will be professional and get the job done. Moving on then to Man City against Newcastle at the Etihad, it's another one where it just kind of feels like the Man City juggernaut will probably go rolling on. Newcastle, they're not a bad side at all, but at the same time, do I really see them having enough to get past Newcastle? Personally, I can't quite see it. I think Man City will have enough, so I'm going to say it will be 3-1 to City here. Moving on then to Sunday's games, two more FA Cup games, starting off with Chelsea against Leicester. Leicester, as we know, doing really well in the Championship this season, looking likely that they'll be heading back to the Premier League next year. But Chelsea, they're very hit and miss, aren't they? Let's say that about Chelsea. It's one that you feel like they could take advantage of it if they have an off day, but at the same time, I think Chelsea will have enough quality to get through. Pros on Wembley Online, it's a big deal for these sides. But moving on then to Manchester United as they take on Liverpool at Old Trafford in the last FA Cup quarter-final. And this is a game that I'm really looking forward to. Klopp, of course, still looking for that potential quadruple. What an achievement that would be if they could do it and to round his time at Anfield off. But this won't be an easy game. Manchester United will be right up for it. I think they have shown signs of improvement in recent times under Eric Ten Hag. I feel like it could be a draw, and I'm going to say Liverpool will hold their nerve on pens. But moving on into the Premier League action this weekend, not much of course due to the FA Cup, but starting off with Burnley against Brentford. I think for Burnley, these are the sorts of games against teams that realistically are lower half teams at home that if Burnley want any realistic chance of staying up, they have to be winning. But I don't think Brentford are totally out of the woods of the relegation picture yet, so they'll also be looking for a win and see it's a big opportunity for them. I think Burnley at home though could just about do it. I'm going to say 2-1 to Burnley. Moving on then to Luton against Nottingham Forest, and this is going to be a really interesting one. How will Luton bounce back from that heartbreaking defeat, which could have plunged Forest into deep trouble? That's the big question coming out of it. But I think, Forest need to be at their A game, because I think Luton will come out fighting. That's the sort of team they are. It could be a really close game, and I think the winner of this could really have the advantage in the battle to stay up, because I think it probably will come down to these two teams. I'm going to say Luton will bounce back at home, score the win. Moving on then to Fulham against Tottenham. Fulham, they just kind of seem a bit mid-table for me this year, don't they? Can't really see them getting to Europe. Not really going to be an ND relegation threat against the Tottenham side, who I think under Ange Postecoglou, I think they still have a good chance of getting the Champions League. Obviously, that win over Villa was a huge win for them. So it's going to be an intriguing one. This one that I feel could go either way, and I'm going to say it will end in a 2-1 victory for Spurs. Moving on then to West Ham as they take on Aston Villa at the London Stadium, and West Ham coming into this one at home. It's an interesting one for West Ham. They just seem so inconsistent with their form. You never really know what sort of West Ham's going to turn up. Winning 5-0 against Freiburg and that result to yeah, Arsenal a few weeks back. Aston Villa winning 4-0 against Ajax, 4-0 loss against Tottenham game before. You don't know what you're going to get. I'm going to call for a draw, 1-1.
Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily football news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.